Well, all right, so you heard the judge there telling them that they'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. That's LA time, of course. They're about 3 hours behind the East Coast, and they expect to have live witnesses tomorrow. You also saw Robert Durst there moving around, getting up, pushing himself up, showing some signs of life there in the courtroom. Let me bring back in my guest, Richard St. Paul. He's a criminal defense attorney as well as a civil rights attorney, and I'd love to get your thoughts on how that cross-examination went. It actually went exactly the way you said the cross-examination would go, really digging into her character and some of the reasons why she might be just telling stories and not necessarily telling the truth.
Well, you know, what I found interesting about the cross-examination was very well done by the defense and kind of poking holes on what did you hear, what you didn't exactly hear, what did you say, what didn't you exactly say. But I thought it was very interesting that what the prosecution did kind of to rehabilitate the witness, and they went back into her background. You're a psychotherapist. You've known this person for 40 years. You're the good person. So they went into the witness's character kind of to beef up her character to make what she's saying more credible. I thought that was a very good tactic by the prosecution.
Yeah, I thought it was an effective use of her character as well, because one of the things that we saw the defense trying to do was say, look, some of these things that you're telling this jury right now, when you were interviewed back in 2001 by the police, you never mentioned. For instance, the important phrase that she had information that would blow it wide open. She never actually mentioned that to the police. But then the prosecution was clear to say, look, you're telling the truth now. You're a person of character. You're a psychotherapist. You're in here now telling the truth, correct? And of course, she said yes, and I agree with you. I think they were very effective.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And this is what this is about. You have some seasoned defense attorneys. You also have some seasoned prosecutors on this matter. And you're going to see a lot of these different tactics so that each side can bolster their ability, one, for the defense to create the reasonable doubt, two, for the prosecution to say that Mr. Durst did it. So this is what happens when you have very well seasoned attorneys in the courtroom. They know their way around, they know how to deal with witnesses, and they know their case.
So was it an overall net positive, this particular witness, Robin Carr Morse, net positive for the prosecution here? Or we saw a number of points made by the defense here, Richard. The fact that she was always eager to please, she was troubled in relationships, she often embellished and liked drama and dramatics, all the things that we've been hearing throughout the day. But at the end of the day, I thought Robin Morse was somebody who she'd known the victim for over 40 years, known her since she was, I think, 12 years old, she said. I think ultimately it was a plus for the prosecution.
No, I think there's no doubt about it that both sides were effective in their use of this particular witness. But I think, again, this is a prosecution witness. So, yes, the prosecution did win the day with this particular witness.
But the final question for you is this type of evidence really probative of anything? This idea that someone is going to say, I have something, and if anything happens to me, this person did it. I often wonder, because we're hearing the same thing in another case that we're covering, that folks were afraid of the defendant, and if something happened to me, this person did it. How probative is that actually at the end of the day for the jury?
Look, it's one piece of the puzzle, and it's especially a piece of the puzzle when you're building cases based upon circumstantial evidence and not so much upon forensic evidence. So that's why these character witnesses are so important, right? You have your expert witnesses, you have your lay witnesses, and then you have your character witnesses. And when you're dealing with cumulative evidence and you don't have evidence that is direct evidence and physical evidence like forensic and blood and ballistics, so forth and so on, you've got to use this to prove your case or disprove your case.
No question about it. And that's actually the case in both of the cases that we're covering. Richard St. Paul, stand by. We do have to take a break right now. When we come back, we're actually going to begin taking a look at that other case that we're covering. It is the Pilot triple murder trial, Kentucky versus Christian Martin. And then that's a case as well that is really focused in on the defendant and the way people felt about him rather than actual physical evidence. But we'll get you caught up on all the day's events there when we come back. So keep it right where it is here on Point TV, your front row seat to justice.